Welcome. Afternoon to all of you. It's so nice to see you. Welcome to day 3 of the 3-day Venus challenge. I'm super excited for today. As I mentioned, today we're going to get more into like practical exercises and things that we can actually do in order to navigate this new cycle of Venus. Because as I said, we still are missing around 200 more days of Venus being the morning star. And for all of 2025, Venus is going to be in its 8-year cycle. And so we took inspiration to come up with some exercises that we could do together today that you can continue to do in your personal life at home. They're very easy to do, but they're exercises of reflection, exercises of gratitude, exercises, some cool secrets on how to find balance and how to balance yourself when you're feeling like everything's too much or you're out of balance during this cycle. So I'm really excited to just get started. I'm just going to start as we did for the last 2 days with the invocation part of things. So I ask you now to just prepare yourself, prepare your energy, take some deep breaths. I'm going to share the slide on the screen right now. Feel free to read it with me, and then we're going to get started. Okay. At this moment, before beginning this conversation, we want to take some time to remember our creators and makers. Alom, Kaholom, Tzakol, Bitol, Tepeo, Gukumats, and show them our gratitude for giving us the gift that is life. We say Matiosh, Ukushkach, Matiosh, Ukushuleo, heart of the sky, heart of the earth. Thank you to the energies of the 4 directions of the universe, the 4 elements, the 4 colors of corn, as well as their guardians. We especially call upon the energy of the word so that all of the words that are shared here can be flourishing and can help us connect to one another. We ask this energy that the words we put out with our voices are caring and of value to the world. All right. So now let's get started. Before we get started, actually, I'm going to share another slide. Thank you. I just wanted to remind you that we have a special offer in case you missed that yesterday. So here we go. Just for anybody who after this would like to continue learning about Maya wisdom, the Maya Geocosmovision, different practices, in case you missed it yesterday, we have our 1-year program, a super special offer for it. Some time ago, in case you missed it yesterday, it used to be priced at more than $2,000 because that's what helped us fund being able to pay the teachers so well, traveling around Guatemala literally for years in order to actually even create this incredible program that is 1 year, it's self-paced. And what it includes is the 1-year spiral of deep lessons and practices. In addition to that, we decided to add some bonus, the cacao healing course, where you can learn all about the secrets of cacao and the medicine of cacao. And that is taught by Elsa and a collective of women who are experts of cacao who come from the Kekchi Nation. Then we also have the herbal healing course that is taught by Raquel, the daughter of Bonifacia. She and her mom come from a super long line of herbalists and healers, and they've spent the last 30 years just getting even crazier and deeper into how to use herbs in your life in order to heal your body and not get ill. And I cannot speak highly enough of how incredible they are. And then also you get lifetime access. So even though it's a 1-year program, will have access forever. You will also have access to the live updates. You'll have support. This is useful because in case there's ever a time where you're a little busy for a few weeks and you just miss like whatever you were doing, you can always come back to it. There will be live updates, so we'll continue to share wisdom and information with you guys all the time. And the other thing that we included are some free gifts. So a golden ticket to the 20-day cacao challenge. The next round of the 20-day cacao challenge is going to start in approximately 1 week from now. So I'm really excited. Everybody who knows me knows I'm obsessed with the cacao challenge. It's so much fun. We meet every day to drink cacao together for 20 days, 1 hour per day. We drink a cup of cacao and we explore the Cholquij calendar. I don't know if you remember when Tata Alberto yesterday was invoking the 20 energies. So those are the energies that we explore, but like really in depth, 1 hour a day. There's 20 energies. That's why it's a 20-day challenge, because we need 20 days in order to explore them. It's amazing. It's life-changing. I'm a little biased because I'm the one teaching it, obviously. But honestly, it's been life-changing even for me to just remember all of these teachings, because it's not, I'm the one teaching it, but it's not my teachings, it's not my words, it's just the lessons of the Cholquij that are so incredibly life-changing. It also, another free gift that we included are the Journey private community. And that's basically just a community for everybody who's going through this 1 year program to be able to chat with each other. I know that a lot of you have been meeting on Zoom, discussing like the courses, discussing the practices, discussing the meditations, sharing with each other like where you're at on your journey, which has been really cool to witness. And also, my personal favorite, a $50 gift card for the Maya Market. We have an online store where we sell products that are made 100% by hand here in Guatemala by many different collectives of producers from different Maya nations. So from cacao to herbs to beautiful jewelry made out of sacred crystals like obsidians and jade and quartz and jicaras and candles and all kinds of beautiful things. So by joining the journey, you also just get a $50 gift card, and you can, that will get you some really cool stuff, actually, the $50. So usually it's priced at $4.97, but for the people who are participating in the Venus Challenge, we took 30% off. So it's $3.47. It's a 1 year program that took us years to create. It's a collaboration between many spiritual leaders, healers, teachers, medicine people from the Maya tradition. It is a collaboration that was built for years, and it's less than $1 a day. So basically, we think that for the amount of transformation, and that's always been our mission, to make it as accessible as possible. I wholeheartedly believe that Maya wisdom is incredibly life-changing. So if you want to join with this special offer, it's available until this upcoming Wednesday. It's available only for a few days. So in the spirit of riding the wave of Venus. All right. Okay, you can stop sharing the slide. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now let's actually get into it. So today, I just wanted to make this all about being practical, right? So my dad had this quote that I told you already, I think a few times: the spirituality of nowadays has a name, and that name is action. And of course, you heard the story of the man who came down from the mountain and who taught everybody that words don't go too far if they're not accompanied by action. And that, of course, was referring to creating change in the world, creating change in communities. But my dad told me that quote, I don't know, I must have heard these words from him thousands of times. I really don't know how often he would repeat to me the word action. He was like, Sulvay, okay, for example, I'll give you an example, right? One time he sat me down and he said to me, I have a question for you. And I was like, what? And he was like, can you right now, just like quickly, tell me 5 things that you could start doing in your life today? Today. And if you would do them every single day for the rest of your life, like for the next month, for the next year, for the next 5 years, they would have a significantly positive impact in your life. And you know what weirded me out about this? That it took me literally 30 seconds to come up with 5 things. It was really not difficult at all. I was like, yeah, if I could start like meditating more every day, that would be really positive. Like if I would do that every day, that would be awesome. I told him if I would work on my diet a little bit more. I told him like right now I'm not really working out. So if I'd start like, like just sign up to the gym or start exercising or go to dance classes or whatever, like that would be so healthy for my body and for my brain. Like really quickly, I could come up with 5 things. I was like, you know what? If you give me one more minute, I'll come up with 10 things actually, and not just 5 things. And he was like, interesting, you know? He said, interesting that you could come up with that so easily. And he was like, then let me ask you another question. And I was like, what? He was like, why are you not doing any of those things? And then I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm not sure. I was like, now I'm gonna start because now I feel bad about it, Dad. But basically, he told me something, and it was, let me tell you something, mi amor, he said. Life is really, really simple. We like to overcomplicate ourselves so much, but life is actually so simple. You don't need a teacher, you don't need a guru, you don't need anything or anyone to tell you what it is that you have to do to improve your life, he said. Of course, surrounded by people who inspire you, who have knowledge that maybe you don't yet have and everything. But he told me the true teacher is you. You already have, and in such a simple question, I already showed you that you already have the answers to the things that you could do in order to improve your life, he said to me. And you already have all of the strength, you have, as long as you have a human brain, he told me you can achieve anything that you want. You can develop yourself to any level that you want. You can continue to learn as much as you want. He said, you don't need anybody from the outside to guide you. The answers to who you are and what you need and what you should be doing are already inside of you. And he said, but if it's so simple, let me ask you a question. Why don't people actually do this? And he said, simple doesn't mean easy, by the way, is what he said. Simple is simple, but simple is not easy. I think we like to overcomplicate ourselves sometimes, is something that my dad taught me. Because sometimes, for some reason, we feel more comfortable in the overcomplicated stuff. Simplicity is so incredibly profound. It's actually a little scary, right? So, the journey, I was telling you about this 1 year program, right? I started the Mind Wisdom Project with my dad and in 2020. And before he passed away, we still got to record a video course for the journey with him. And it was a video course and a mix of just knowledge and practical exercises. And for years, one of the questions, like one of the first questions that he asks in one of the practical exercises, and he makes you sit down and write down the answer is, I need you to answer the following question. And the question is, who are you? And for 5 years, I've been seeing people freak out about that question. It's so simple. So many people are like, oh, well, I'm a lawyer, I'm a teacher, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a wife, I'm whatever. And then he's like, no, no, I didn't ask you what's your job. I didn't ask you what's your position in your family. I asked you, who are you? And then people are like, well, I like painting. I don't know. and, it's so simple, yet it's so incredibly profound. And so Maya wisdom is rooted in simplicity. So I was lucky enough to be in Caminal Huyu in Guatemala City, which is an ancient Maya altar here, for a group of the journey as well. There was one specific group, they were one of the first ones to join the journey. So Aline, my niece, and I, Aline, my niece, period, and I, not Aline, my niece, and I. So Aline, who's my niece, and I were just like, let's do a Zoom call with them to hear how they like the whole year experience and everything. And then Aline told me like, okay, Sulva, you have to prep because you need to tell them some words before we close the call about mind wisdom. And I was like, ugh. But these people have already learned about so many different topics. I was like, they've learned about, the calendars. They've learned about medicine. They've learned about cacao. They've learned about like consciousness. They learned about diet. They learned about herbalism. Like, I was like, what topic am I going to talk about? Like, do I go specific or like, what do I tell them? And then I was just sitting literally under a ceiba tree in Caminal Cuyo, and I had no idea what I was going to tell them. And then I told them, I'm going to tell you actually, I remembered like the words just came to me. I remembered some words that my dad told me. And he was like, you know what's funny? He told me, people underestimate how incredibly profound the Maya geocosmovision is because oftentimes I have people come and ask me for the answers to their questions. And they get almost a little pissed off that I say something so simple, you know? And, he I told them like, okay, it sounds so simple. It's almost hard to process how profound it is. But my dad was like, if I stop somebody on the street right now and I tell them the key to life is just be grateful. You have four bodies, the physical and material, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. Work on all of them equally and balance them. Because if one of them is out of balance, the other three will be out of balance too. Everything is equally important. You know, remember to be respectful towards the creation. Practice forgiveness. Be kind towards yourself and others. Practice justice in your life. Be just towards yourself. Be just in your actions towards others. Um, you know, connect to nature. Nature is healing, and etc. Like a few simple principles. People will be like, okay, that's too dumb to be actually interesting, you know? And so what I told people who went through the journey for 1 year is now you've been studying it for 1 year. Those simple things, you've been studying them for 1 year, and that's probably not even enough. You're still in the basic level of Maya wisdom, you know? And I was like, do you now understand how profound those things actually are, right? And everybody's like, yeah, now it hits different after we've spent countless hours studying it and practicing. We realize it's simple, but it's so profound. And it's actually not, as my dad always said, simple is not easy. But master your brain, you know, become the creator of your personal reality. Sounds cool, but do it. I mean, it's like, do you know what it would take for you to actually be able to do that, right? And the Maya have so many cool practices that I'll share with you right now about that. So I just came up with like a few different practices that I wanted to share with you as we're going through this shift in cycle of Venus, because Venus right now, the energy is so strong and life is so beautiful. But sometimes when the energy is so strong and we're going through difficulty, sometimes we're going through challenges, sometimes it's hard to see the silver lining or the light at the end of the tunnel. And we are all going through our own personal trials of Shivalva. You, me, everybody, that's normal. Everybody has a little bit of Shivalva, at least a little bit in their life, you know, which is, you know, the difficulties. So what Shivalva teaches you is in the story of the Popol Vuh, when the hero twins are called to go down to Xibalbá. No, let me start earlier. In the story of the Popol Vuh, when Hun Hunahpu and Vukuv Hunahpu are called down to go down to Xibalbá, they arrive in Xibalbá and they start having this set of trials, which they fail. They die super quickly in Xibalbá, like they fail really quickly. And this part of the story is supposed to teach you what not to do. Later, their descendants, the hero twins, Hunahpu Balamke, go down to Xibalbá and they succeed in every single trial. It was hard. They almost died a few times, but they eventually succeed in every single one of the trials. So the Popol Vuh tells you these two stories of how to act in the face of the darkness. One that teaches you how to fail, like what not to do, and one that teaches you how to succeed in the face of darkness, what to do. And the interesting part about the trials of Xibalbá is they're called the houses of Xibalbá, and each one is a metaphor for something different. There's the house that is dark, the house that is cold, the house of the jaguars, the house of the bats, the house of the chayas, which is glass shards. Is that what you call it? I don't know. But each one of those houses is a metaphor for something that we as human beings go through in our lives. And the guys who failed, well, okay, so the houses, even though it seems like the trial is what's around you in the houses, the darkness, the cold, the danger, the bad people, because there's a lot of not really nice guys in Xibalbá, you know? Even though at first sight, when you're reading the story, it seems like that's the problem. Each house of Xibalbá is a metaphor, and each one triggers something inside of you that is the things in you that are keeping you from being able to get out of there, right? Sometimes the guys who failed just sit there and cry. They're like, I don't know how to get out of here. And they're like sitting there and doing nothing and just being victims of the situation in which they're in. The Lords of Xibalbá tell them, like, okay, keep this ocote and this tabaco lit all night. And if you don't keep it lit all night, in the morning we're gonna come and we're gonna kill you, literally. So they're like, how can you do that? How can we do it? And they're just like, oh my God. That's it. And we can't do anything about this. We can't do anything about the situation. And they just basically sit there and feel bad for themselves, right? And like, so Shivalva teaches you, like, okay, life sometimes, a lot of times, life is not fair. And that's something that a great teacher told me once. I always share this story during the 20-day challenge. I once, I I had a tough life, okay? So I went and saw some um, coach kind of guy who my dad found for me, a friend of his who's amazing, incredible to help me because I was not okay. And I remember I sat there in his office for 44, it was a 2 hour session. For the first 45 minutes. I just sat there in his office and he was like, okay, tell me what's up. And for 45 minutes, I just sat there crying. And I told him, I'm in a horrible, severely psychologically abusive relationship. I have no money. I can't afford food. I can't afford even my basic things. My health is not okay. I have this problem with this person in my family, that problem with that person in my family. I have bad friends. I'm drinking too much because I don't know what else to do with my life. So I'm drinking and smoking and escaping and this and that. And I was just crying and like, and then this thing happened to me, and then that bad thing happened to me, and this one and that one. And my life is so horrible, and this and that. And after 45 minutes of listening to me, I'm like, so yeah, that's it. That's why I'm here. Those are the problems of my life. The guy just looks at me and he's like, interesting. I have a question for you then. And I was like, what? And he was like, what are you gonna do about it? And I was like, I was like, wait a second. I was like, I think you were not listening properly. Didn't you hear me? I'm in an abusive relationship. I have no money. I'm broke. I'm this and this and that and this and that. What are you saying? There's nothing I can do about it. Like, dude, help me. And he was like, no, no, I heard you. But what are you going to do about it? And I told you, well, I don't know because right now I'm too busy trying to survive because I can't even afford food. So what can you do when you're so broke that, like your life is like in danger and everything? He was like, yeah, right. You have no money. And he was like, and what are you going to do about that? And I was like, wait a second. I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, nothing, because I'm in this bad relationship. And how could I ever focus on like making it out of my struggles in life because this guy keeps on treating me so badly? He's like, right. And what are you going to do about that? And I was like, how dare you, sir, to suggest I'm responsible for my own life? And so that was very life-changing for me because I was like, wait a second. Should I be doing something about the things that are happening in my life, the shivalva that is happening in my life? And he told me, Sulva, I'm going to tell you something. It's not your fault. The bad things that happen to you in life are not your fault, but they are your responsibility. And he said, if you're going to sit here and wait for this person in your family and that person in your family and that guy you're dating and that person to change in accordance to how you would need them to change in order for you to be okay, then girl, get out of my office because you're going to be a very unhappy person and there's no point on working with you. And so I kind of decided to change my life that day. And well, basically, that's what Shivalva or the story of the Popol Vuh teaches you, right? Is the difficulties in life, they might seem like they are the problem, the person or the situation or whatever. But the Maya teaches that what those things really do is they trigger the parts inside of us that are keeping us from being a better version of ourselves, that are keeping us from going to the upper world, to the light. So darkness is normal and natural, but it is our responsibility. To me, as soon as you learn that life is not fair and maybe it's not supposed to be, the sooner you're going to be able to start being able to like just working on that. And that's okay. Life is not fair sometimes. Life is also incredibly profoundly magnificent and beautiful at the same time. And so that's why I came up with some practices that hopefully will help you navigate these times where Venus is so strong that it'll either push you and make you become a better version of yourself, or you're going to be rolling around in the waves crying about how difficult your life is, like I used to some years ago. So now I'll share a slide with you, and we're going to move on to the next exercise with the first exercise, which is about release. Next slide. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few minutes now to actually do this, except for the burning part, okay? So this is something that Tata Alberto loves to do. He has way longer versions of this exercise, but because we don't have a lot of time, we're gonna just do like a short version of it, but you can actually do longer versions of this exercise. So think of the past and release what no longer serves you, right? So we're entering a new cycle for the Maya. Every time we enter new cycles, is a time to think of the past and release before the new cycle. So for example, the Av calendar, which is the solar calendar, the one that lasts 365 days, it has 18 months of 20 days each month, plus a very short month that lasts 5 days, which is called Wayev. Wayev happens every year around February in the Gregorian calendar and is right after Wayev is over, the Mayan New Year happens. What's up? Why am I telling you this? The reason I'm telling you this is because Wayev is a time that people go in, they don't work, they don't do anything, they don't drink, they often do like a, how do you call it, fasting and all kinds of things like that. They go to Maya ceremonies and do for 5 days spiritual practices to release whatever happened to them in the last year. They get rid of the junk in their house, the old clothes that they don't wear anymore. If they've had conflict with a person, when people had conflict in the year during YF, they go look for each other, they sit down and they talk about it. And they try to practice forgiveness for each other because they don't want to bring this into the new year. My dad always told me, imagine if people in the Western modern world would do this every year, probably we'd all be healthier. If once a year at least we manage to write our year backwards, if we would like to think about like what happened in the past year and actually leave it there so that we can start fresh, everything would be better. So my dad always loved giving people exercises such as this one. So I'm giving you a super short version, but basically we're going to just try to write down 3 things that you're ready to release from your life, and then we're gonna safely burn them, but not right now, please. This is super important. In the Maya tradition, when you burn something because you want to release it, you don't do it indoors because then it still remains there. You have to actually go outside if you have a garden or outside your house or wherever, so that it's actually released in an open space so that it actually leaves. So as a way to symbolically let them go, fire is also great at transmuting, and then allow for, as you're burning it, allow it for it to be released and to open yourself to this new energy to enter. So I'm actually just going to give you a few minutes right now to write down 3 things that you're ready to release from your life. I'll be silent for a few minutes and you just think. Okay, I hope that gave you enough time. Um, so for now, just keep that little paper next to you, but don't forget to burn it later, okay? That's very important. And please don't forget to burn it outside. I don't want anybody hurting themselves, by the way, so please burn it in a safe way. Don't be burning yourself by accident. All right, we're gonna move on to the next one. Okay, so now that we've released, we're just gonna do something to invite new beginnings. Next. All right. So in the Maya tradition, as I was telling you, the Maya don't do this just once a year, by the way, but Wayev is definitely the most significant time of the year when it comes to releasing the old, letting go of the old. But if we study the Cholquij calendar as well, every 20 days there's different energies that also allow us to do that. For example, look at Ahmak, right? And you know how the Venus calendar year always starts in Ahmak, interestingly enough. But Look at Ahmak. Ahmak is the energy of forgiveness. For the Maya, forgiveness is so important that every 20 days we do forgiveness practices in order to forgive ourselves, to forgive others, and for others to forgive us in case we're the ones who maybe did something wrong. Um, just like that, we have other energies that teach us about, like, see, for example, the energy of creating justice, right? The energy of being just towards ourselves and towards others. So every 20 days, you revise if you're being fair towards yourself, towards others, you resolve any injustice that's happening in your life. Sometimes we're unjust towards ourselves, etc. So my point is, from the previous exercise, it's Wayev, but it's also the Chulkij calendar. There are many days that happen in 20-day cycles. There are many trecenas that happen in 13-day cycles that are all about releasing the old. But for the Maya, it's not just about releasing, it's about setting intentions as well. And releasing the old gives you space to invite the new into your life. So right now, what I just wanted to do was do some intention setting for this year, right? And not only for this year, but for the next 8 years, because remember, we just started a new 8-year cycle. What a great opportunity to make the next 8 years count, right? To ride that Venus wave of the next 8 years in our personal lives. So now is the time to set intentions. So what we're gonna do, and this is actually the first part about it, is something that we obviously don't have time to do right now, to create a vision board or to journal or to, you can do whatever version of it you want, by the way. Like, vision boards are not Maya, obviously, but we're just trying to come up with things that are easy for you guys to do. So you can do any version of it that you want. You can write down, what you want your life to start looking like, or you can just put pictures on your wall of, like, the things that you desire and that you dream of achieving, like health and wealth and well-being and love and happiness and joy and whatever. I don't know what you guys desire. But basically, that is something that I invite you to, after we're done here, actually take some time today, just like, whatever, write it down or go to your laptop, look for some photos of the things that you want and actually put them into your life so that we don't actually forget about this. And then what we are going to do right now, though, is, you can then later go and create a vision board or journal about it or do whatever you want. But what we are going to do right now, though, is ask ourselves that question. What do you want to manifest in your life? Is it health? Is it love? Is it growth? Is it purpose? Like, what is it? And not only are we going to think about it, but as we come up with it, we're going to speak those intentions out loud. And I want you to also, like, if you say, like, okay, what I want to manifest for myself is, I don't know, peace, like, really tune into that feeling and what does that feel like in your body and start visualizing it. And so I'm just going to give you a few minutes right now. Maybe write them down so that you don't forget them. And later, when the call is done, go and either put them on a notebook, print them and put them on your wall, whatever it might be that works for you after the call we're going to do. But right now, we're going to come up with it. So I'm just going to be silent again for a few minutes and you start thinking about this. Okay, I hope that gave you guys enough time. Um, if not, if you didn't finish, you can still just keep going after we're done with the cold today. You can keep brainstorming with yourself. Cool. So we're gonna move on to the next one. Reflect, of course. So you can share the next slide if you want. Okay. So, but of course, not only are we setting intentions, but I told you, and I love this, and my dad told me, like, Wayev, for example, which is this 5 days per year. Oftentimes with his patients, when my dad, because he was an incredible healer. You have no idea how good of a healer my dad was. He would always put them to do this exercise because he was like, okay, in the Maya world, people do this once a year. So it's like it's fine. But in the Western world, people never ever do this actually. Like people never go back. So he would ask people to write down their entire life story backwards until their first memory, for instance. I kid you not, if you can do that, do it. It gives you, by the end, you're like, it makes perfect sense that I am the way I am. It makes perfect sense why I have the issues I have. Like everything just makes perfect sense, right? And then he followed that with like exercises of writing the story with their romantic partners, writing the story with their family members, like just and analyzing, right? And reflecting. And so that was always such a healing practice, but then he also always paired it up with like practices in order to be able to heal that, practices in order to be able to change the patterns that we want to change. And obviously, this is long, the exercises, so we're just doing these short versions, but I invite you to continue to do go as deep as you want. Once you have your personal time and everything, you can of course go as deep as you want. And honestly, game changing. I've done it and incredible. But right now, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna reflect on the past 8 years, and then we're gonna visualize our life 8 years from now. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. This time, I'm gonna let you answer. Feel free to, you can either think about it or you can write it down. I'll actually try to give you a few more minutes because I think this is gonna take a little bit longer. But basically, what has changed in your life in the last 8 years? Let's do some reflection and think about that. Interesting question, no? What patterns have shifted in the last 8 years? What lessons have you learned in the last 8 years? Such simple questions, but I think once you're answering them, you'll see they're so incredibly profound. And once you're done thinking about that, I want to move on to visualizing. So, what things do you want to achieve in the next 8 years? What steps can you take today to align with this? Focus the energy of this new cycle to create positive change in your life. And I'm just going to give you a friendly and gentle reminder about the word action one more time. When it comes to visualizing, you know, goals without action and without plans and without strategy are just dreams. But goals with action are actual plans. So you have to also think about like, okay, not only like, oh, what do I want? Oh, it would be nice to, achieve this or achieve that, but also think a little bit about like, how can I actually do that? And if the answer is, I don't know, how can I actually do that? Then lucky you that we live in the 21st century and there's so much great information and there's so many great teachers and if what you want is to overcome your anxiety, well, great. There's millions of people who have done that and they've written books about it that you can find on Google for free. There's so many tools out there. So then the answer is also you have to go and look for the answer if you don't actually know how to achieve what you want to achieve. But yeah, what do you want? What have you learned and what do you want to learn and how do you want to grow? So for this one, I'm going to give you a little longer because I know it's a lot of questions. And yes, it's 8 years starting now in 2025 and then 8 years backwards. Yeah. So I'm just going to mute myself again and let you guys think about that for a moment. Okay, I hope I gave you enough time. If not, if you didn't finish, come back. It's a little hard to calculate the time. Um, but yeah, I love this one. I think it's so powerful. I was just thinking about it myself a little bit too, just briefly. And when I was doing the reflect on the past 8 years, I was like, whoa, wow, oh my gosh, wow. Yeah, but then when I was visualizing the next 8 years, I felt really energized and like, yeah, yes, let's do it. So thank you for everybody, by the way, who was sharing in the chat. And I don't know who, somebody was like, we've got this. And I think, yes, we're here all together and we've got this. So say yes if you've got this. Say yes in the chat. And I've got this, you've got this, we've got this. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's send each other good energy so that we can actually, you know, get through the next 8 years and become better versions of ourselves. And I also think somebody else said something important in the chat, but I forgot what it was because now it's moving really fast. But um, like one step at a time, or it all starts with one step or something like that. And that's also something that I believe is incredibly powerful. And I don't remember where I heard it, but it was like sometimes we get cocky about where we're at in life. And we think I want to get better now. So I'm gonna quit all these bad things. I'm gonna quit smoking. I'm gonna quit drinking. I'm gonna change my diet. I'm gonna start exercising. I'm gonna meditate. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Go to therapy. And then we actually don't last and we don't pull it off. And somebody told me once, just don't get cocky. The only important thing in life is to be realistic about where you're at and what you're actually capable of achieving for your self-development right now for where you're at. And if all that is for you today is flossing because you don't floss enough, then good. You are literally a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday just because you did that one little thing. And that if that's all you could do, that's all you could do. And all you have to do is be a little bit of a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday every day. And sometimes that looks like such tiny little baby steps that don't seem super significant, but I've been doing that for 5 years, and oh my gosh, tiny baby steps, like they don't look like much, but if you add them all up for 5 years, you're like a completely different person. You have achieved goals that seemed so far-fetched 5 years ago or 8 years ago. It's crazy. And so let's also have some honesty towards ourselves and kindness and take action, but without thinking, okay, now I have to figure everything out in one day or in one week or in one month. It's okay. Just be where you're at. As long as that means that you actually commit to it, then that's awesome because it's better to do a little bit every day than to do a lot for 1 week and then give up and go back to zero and not do anything for years, you know? So another, like, just last thing I'll leave you with before we move on to the next exercise is a promise I made to myself, which is change is hard, self-development is hard. Like it's overwhelming to think about where I'm at right now versus where I want to be at. Like, how am I gonna actually even get there? Sometimes I used to be like, I don't even, like, I have no idea how I'm gonna pull this off. But also, you have to be honest and realistic. Things don't change in a week. Like if you want to get fit and you go to the gym, you don't get fit in 1 week. Like I wish it worked like that, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that, right? You're gonna go there, and even if you give it your best and you go 5 times a week, 1 week later, you're not gonna see much difference in your body. 2 weeks later, maybe you're gonna start noticing a thing or two. 1 month later, you're gonna start being like, okay, now I'm starting to see a few little things. But the true results that you want will come after 6 months, maybe. They'll come after 1 year, maybe. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's actually super awesome because I think that the things that require you to put in that amount of time and energy and work, those are the things that are actually going to be long lasting and that are going to have the biggest impact. I'm glad things are not that easy because that makes, once you achieve them, that makes the impact much, much, much deeper. And so the promise that I made to myself was, okay, I'm going to speak to my future self right now. And what do I want in 3 years from now, or in 5 years from now, or in this case, in 8 years from now? Do I want to look back and say, Sulvai, thank God you did that? Like, thank God you did every single one of those things. Or do I want to look back in 8 years and be like, man, if I would have started 3 years ago, if I would have started 8 years ago. And my promise to myself is my future self, like I'm working towards her and I work for her. Like basically at any point in time, she can always look back and be grateful to my present self because I'm working so that she's happier and that she's healthier and that she's better. So that every time she looks back, she's like, yes, thank you so much to my past self for doing that. So, anyways, let's move on to the next one. Gratitude. Okay, you can stop sharing the slides right now. Okay. So this I don't even know, like I didn't give you an exercise for right now because it's just yeah. Okay. So wait, actually give me 1 second. Actually, sure. Video after all. Okay, thank you. All right, so sorry, I just came up with an idea right now, so I'll tell you when, okay? Okay, thank you. So basically, um, well, for me, yesterday was so important in this challenge because I just wanted to show you not only our culture and this incredible practices and this incredible tradition that is rooted in thousands of years of work of so many incredible people and ancestors who truly deciphered life and its depths and its beauty and how to navigate the light, the darkness, health, mental health, and everything. But as I mentioned yesterday, one of the reasons it was so important for me to show you the Maya fire ceremony, and I saw some people were like, well, what does it have to do with Venus? Well, Maya fire ceremonies don't have to do only with Venus, they have to do with everything. For the Maya, regardless of what it is that you're trying to navigate, Maya fire ceremonies are at the center of it. You're sick, Maya fire ceremony. Your life is going great, Maya fire ceremony to be grateful for that. Your life is not going great, Maya fire ceremony to be like, okay, I recognize that my life is not going great right now. You have a new relationship, Maya fire ceremony to like just put the energy of that relationship right. You want to get pregnant, Maya fire ceremony to set good intentions for that pregnancy. Basically, everything you do, Maya fire ceremony. So going through the cycles of Venus, of course, Maya fire ceremony. So the point is, for the Maya, this practice of kotzich, this practice of toch, this practice of payment of gratitude is the basis of everything. Is the basis of physical health, is the basis of mental health, is the basis of spiritual health, of emotional health, is the basis of relationships, is the basis of building great societies, great communities, is the basis on how are we going to be in harmony with nature? How are we going to be in harmony with ourselves? How are we going to practice forgiveness? I'm just telling you, practicing this gratitude is so incredibly profound. So my invitation to you is to do the same practice. You can't do a Maya fire ceremony at home. Obviously, only an Arquij can do that. But there is a smaller version of it that is for everybody who feels called to do it. And it's as simple as light one single candle. White, red, yellow, doesn't even matter what color it is. Like whatever you feel like it's okay. The whole point is the intention, right? The Maya wake up every single morning before the sun comes out, before the first rays of sunlight. It's a very profound practice to just receive the first rays of sunlight. Yeah. And they light a candle. And every single morning they say something a little similar to what I did at the beginning with the invocation. Matyosh ukushkach. Matyosh ukushileo. Thank you, heart of the sky. Thank you, heart of the earth. Matyosh sakol bitol lalom kaholom tepeu kumatsish piakokish mukane. I'm not going to keep going right now, but basically every single one of those words that I just used is a concept that represents something so profound about life. So thank you to everything. Thank you to nothing. Thank you to the light and to the darkness. Thank you to outer space. Thank you to the Father Sun. Thank you to the Grandmother Moon. Thank you to the earth. Thank you to the plants. Thank you to the trees, the volcanoes, the bees. The bees. If the bees would die, we would all die too. You know what I mean? So maybe we should say thank you to the bees. Thank you to the water, because without water, there is no life. Remember, my dad's predictions for 2025 are about water. And I notice more and more Akihab continuing to mention the importance of taking care of water right now. So let's please take care of water. So thank you to the water because we would not be able to be alive without it. We would not. I mean, think like I know you can hear those words and you understand it like consciously, but that's what the practice of Toch does to you. You understand it to a different level. You feel incredibly profound emotions about the water. You feel incredibly profound feelings and gratitude and like, whoa, and it makes you want to cry. And you're just like, wow, it's incredible. Like, what a miracle. I'm so grateful. But you know what's the thing? When you feel like that about the water, you're going to think twice before you destroy it. When you feel that way about the trees, you are going to, when you have that level of love and gratitude and respect for the trees, you're not going to just go around cutting down trees with no heart without thinking about them because you see them as mere resources. I'll tell you a story, the story of the people of wood in the Popol Vuh. So you know how corn is very sacred? In the Maya tradition, the Maya say we're people of corn. We're the humanity of corn. The Popol Vuh narrates it. Hunahpu and Shvalamke, one of the last conversations they have with the energies of Xibalbá before they leave the darkness is stop bothering people because soon is going to come the time of the children born in clarity. The children born in clarity are the people of corn. It's time for the new humanity, says the Popol Vuh. And the Hunahpu and Shvalamke tell the lords of Xibalbá, look, you're useful. Like they're talking to the darkness saying, you're useful. So if you start to see that those people of corn, that those children that are supposed to be born in clarity, start acting with selfishness, with lack of gratitude, with lack of respect, with like if they start acting like victims, if they start creating war, if they start creating conflict, if they start doing all these things, then sure, go bother them. Tell the darkness, we gave you permission to go and do whatever you want with them because then you're going to teach them the lessons. And the only way for them to get out of the darkness into the light is going to be to learn those lessons. But as long as they're in the light, don't bother them. And it's beautiful because the story comes at a time in the history of the Maya, like the mythical story of the Maya, which is right before our humanity was born. The Maya believed that before our humanity, there were a few different humanities that came before us. The people of mud is one of them. I'm not even going to talk about them. They were just dumb, basically. And then there's the people of wood. That's who I want to talk about. The people of mud were soft, because mud, clay, like they would melt easily. They had no brain. They were like blah. And so that's not useful, They were too soft, too not using their brain, not thinking. They were just like going around life being kind of useless. And so that was something that was seen as like, yeah, okay, this humanity is useless. And then they disappeared because of their own uselessness. Then the creation was like, okay, let's try again. Let's make another humanity. And the next humanity was the people of wood. The materials we're made of are a very big metaphor for what those humanities represent. So look at wood. Wood is hard, yeah? Wood is not flexible. The people of wood, their issue was they were too hard. It was said that their faces were not expressive because they were wood. They were just like serious all the time. Uh, they were not flexible. They were not soft. It went from a humanity that was too soft to a humanity that was too hard. But what was their weakness? What was the reason for their literal extinction? It was one important thing. The people of wood were super smart, great brains, great, I mean, really smart people, very highly intelligent people. But what made them go extinct? They had no heart. They had no spirit. That's what the story narrates. And it was said the people of wood, with all of their intelligence, with all of that brain power, they went and they populated the whole world, is what the Popol Vuh narrates. They just reproduced and they just did like their thing and populated the whole world. But they forgot something really important, says the Popol Vuh. They forgot us. And in this moment, the story is narrated by the creator and maker of reality, the creators and makers of reality, right? And so they say they forgot us. They forgot gratitude. They forgot to be grateful to us. And so it's like the water, the earth, the fire, the magma, the sun, the plants are saying like, yeah, they forgot us. They're not grateful to us. And even though we're the ones that provide them with life, because without water, without air, without plants, without all of that, they wouldn't be able to exist. We're their creators and they forgot us. And not only that, and what happens when they forget you, and that's what they narrate, they start seeing you as a mere resource, is what the Popol Vuh says. This, by the way, was written thousands of years ago. This story is literally thousands of years old. It's like it feels like it's narrating the present moment, but it's really old. So the Maya were really intelligent at assuming what could happen if people are behaving in the way in which unfortunately we're acting like now. So they're like now they don't see us, the water, the air, the trees, the plants, as their creators. They see us as a resource. And so the people of Wood went and started cutting down trees. They started using the animals as guardians and just exploiting the animals. They started just like, polluting the water. They started destroying everything. I'm like, sounds kind of familiar, the story, but whatever. Um, and why? Because they forgot to be grateful. And that's why we tell children in the Maya tradition this story as a warning for what happens when you forget to be grateful. One day, the creation came together, all of the energies of creation came together, and they had a meeting. They're like, what are we going to do about the people of wood? Because, guys, they're destroying everything. And the creation said, not only are they destroying all of us, the creation, they're destroying themselves. They're suicidal. Like, what's wrong with them? Like, don't they get it? They're going to destroy themselves. And so the creation's like, okay, we have to destroy them because they're going to destroy us and they're going to destroy themselves anyway. So we better destroy them before they destroy everything alongside themselves. So the dogs came and bit them, their houses collapsed. Even the grinding stone was grinding their bones, whatever. It's a long story. It was intense, but basically everybody died. Like all the people of wood died. And then that was the time before the people of corn, and we're supposed to be the people of corn. Corn is not too soft, but also not too hard. It's a representation of having brains, but also having hearts, having spirit. And so, gratitude, right? Gratitude, remembering our creation. We are taught that since we're little kids in the Maya tradition. I grew up going to Maya ceremonies my whole life. I grew up with my dad saying, Zulva, kiss the earth, go down on your knees and go and you kiss the earth because she's your mom and you have to be grateful. And so, you know, I think that people truly profoundly underestimate what this is when they look at Maya ceremonies. They're like, oh yeah, whatever, some weird fire ritual, but no, it's the meaning of life, literally for me. It's the meaning of life. Gratitude sits at it's the basis of everything. And once you're in that state of mind where you're grateful to your creators, I swear to you, you start to witness life in a different way, and that just brings you more happiness. It brings you better ways to communicate in your relationships with other people. It brings you more kindness towards yourself. It brings you more health. It brings you the ability to see life from a perspective and act from a perspective that truly is life changing. So my invitation is do what the Maya people do. Every morning, light a candle and say thank you because I woke up one more time. And thank you, water, because thanks to you I exist. Thank you, air, because thanks to you I exist. Thank you, trees. And thank you, air, for the oxygen that you bring me for my breath. And take a deep breath and really feel it. And thank you, bees, because you bring me life. And thank you to the animals and the volcanoes and the trees and the magma and the sun and the moon and the space and the earth and everything. So that's gratitude. And so, it's hard because there's a lot of people here, right? And so, like, it's always been really fun when we're like in Zoom meetings in smaller circles and there's like just 10 people like in the journey or something, and then we can actually all talk to each other. We can't do that here. But one of the students of the journey, after he finished the year, uh, we asked him because he told me the most beautiful things, and I was like, can I just record you saying that? Because he spoke about how learning about gratitude in the Maya wisdom was so life-changing for him. So I'm just gonna share the video with you guys right now because he said it in a way that touched me. So I'll let him do the talking. So I'll mute myself, yeah? Okay. So just you wait 1 second. Oop, wait 1 second. Uh, wait, my computer is doing something funny. Just 1 second. Ay, Dios santo. Ahí está.
The Mayan course has taught me to get outside and be humble and to simply say, thank you, thank you, thank you for all that I have, and actually to be thankful for the experience and the miracle of just being alive. When I can get into that zone, I feel alive. I feel the passion and the intensity of each and every moment. All I can say is yes.
Let me mute myself. Okay, so I don't know. I just felt like Rick, he's one of the first students. The way he said it, I just felt it. So I just kind of wanted to share it with you guys. So gratitude, yeah. So every morning you do it in the morning, and every evening you do it. You light a candle and you do the same thing, and you say thank you because I lived through one more day. And in the Maya world, by the way, we say not only thank you for the good stuff, we also say thank you for the bad stuff, just so you know. We say thank you when things are going well, and when things are not going well, we say thank you as well. Thank you. Even for illness, we say thank you because of everything that is teaching us. So we say we're just grateful to everything in existence, and we understand that everything in existence is a part of existence that deserves acknowledgement. So please be grateful. Okay, let's move on to this is going to be so much fun. Let's move on to the next exercise. I'm so excited for this one. Balance your energy. Okay, I'm going to teach you something really fun right now. And please try it again after the call because a lot of you I see are alone. But if you have someone with you, oh my God, please do it in the way that Eline. I want to prove my point. La vení, Eline. Pero no tenés que salir en la cámara, vení, solo es para enseñar tu brazo. Okay. Sorry, my niece. I'm just asking her for assistance so you can stop sharing. You don't have to be in la cámara, solamente es en tu brazo, okay? So
Okay.
she doesn't want to be in camera, but I just need her to help me make the point, right?
Sorry, everyone, I'm in pajamas.
She's wearing pajamas and she doesn't want to show herself. This was not planned. Uh, but okay, I'll just show you how to try this at home. So ask a friend, ask your spouse, ask someone to just like help you. So Tata Alberto taught me this exercise and it's incredible. So basically, you remember yesterday how I taught you about the spirals and everything, like that spiral energy? So for the Maya, we heal in spirals. And that's not just something metaphoric and emotional and psychological or spiritual. It's literally also physical. There's some fun physical hacks that you can do when you're out of balance and to balance your energy. So counterclockwise spiral movements. I'll show you now, and then you won't believe me, but once you do it, you'll be like, whoa. Okay, so I'm just gonna be as strong as I can right now. And my niece is just gonna, and she's strong. She's gonna try to put my arm down, and I'll try to fight her so she can't put my arm down, and we'll just see. Like, I haven't done anything right now, so we'll just see what happens. Okay, but try it at home because then you'll see. So now I'm gonna balance my energy, and then I'll teach you how to do it yourself. So, espérate, déjame ver. Entonces, con el reloj y después contra. Okay, I balance my energy right now. I'll explain it in a second how to do it. You'll be mind blown once you try it. Go again. All right, so the second time I was much stronger. It's just a way to prove it as it remember. But it's just a way to prove the point, right? So the idea is okay, the way you do it is different for women than for men, by the way. So if you're a woman, if you're a woman, you're gonna be represented. One of the numbers by which you're gonna be represented in the Maya tradition is number 3. If you're a man, you're gonna be represented by number 4. Yeah, okay. So what you do is you take your hand. I can't show you right now because I'm on camera, but you put it one finger in your belly button. Yeah, in your belly button. Then you take the other hand and you're gonna do, if you're a woman, you're gonna do it 3 times. If you're a man, you're gonna do it 4 times, okay? Uh, you're gonna do 3 circles clockwise. This is super important. Clockwise, okay? So 3 times you're gonna go clockwise. So 1, 2, 3. And if you're a man, go 4. Okay, perfect. And then once you're done, you're gonna do it 13 times, 13 circles, but you're gonna do it counterclockwise. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right. You just did it and you might not feel too much, right? Because it's like not that obvious, but it's incredibly powerful. And that's why I just wanted to show you, thanks, Celine, again. Like I just wanted to show you how you actually get stronger. The Maya truly believe that we're affected by energy. And they believe that, you know, like the energy around us, like if we're going to the street or maybe we even had a conflict with someone or something like that, this balances our energy. So they have this little practices to cleanse yourself, to protect yourself, like including crystals and stuff like that, but also like physical practices to balance your own energy. And so you can do this test, and Adalberto loves doing this because Adalberto, Tata Alberto, like, I mean, so if you listen to his life story, he came from an incredibly profoundly traumatic childhood. Like I can't even express, like when he's told me the stories of his life, I'm like, wow, I feel so bad listening to them. He tried to commit suicide twice, and super luckily, like he was saved. He was in a car accident that left him paraplegic, but you saw him yesterday. Is he paraplegic? No, he's not. He had a stroke that left half of his body not being able to move. And like the whole story is like how he was lying in the public hospital after his car accident. He used to work for a truck company. He was loading cotton onto a truck. Another truck came and hit the truck he was on, and he flew I don't know how many meters, and he just fell. He woke up in the hospital days later. Uh, and they told him, yeah, we're so sorry. You're never going to be able to walk ever again. You're paraplegic. And so he was like, oh my God, my life, you know? And then one day, his bad neighbor in the hospital, because in public hospitals here, you share the room, was this man who was really annoying, he says, because he was in pain. I don't even know what his issue was, but he was in pain and he would complain about how much pain he's in all night. He was like, wow, nurse, please. And he said basically nobody could sleep because this guy was so loud about complaining about his pain. So the guy was telling the nurse, please, 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 please give me like pain meds. Give me pain meds. And the nurse kept telling him for days, I can't. The doctor hasn't approved those meds. Like we already gave you everything we could. Like there's nothing. I'm sorry. Like just, sorry. And for days, everybody was complaining to the nurse, like, we can't sleep at night. This guy won't stop screaming. He won't stop complaining. Please do something. So one day, the nurse comes in and he tells the guy, good news. The doctor approved super strong pain medication for you. I'm going to inject it right now. Like, take off your pants, give me your butt cheek. I'm going to inject it right now. And it's going to make you feel so much better. Sorry it took so many days. And the guy's like, finally, thank you so much. Anyways, She injects him. 20 minutes later, he's like, ah, sweet relief. Finally. He goes to sleep like a baby. Everybody can finally sleep. They're so happy. The day after, she does the same, and for a few days, she's doing that. And finally, the guy is feeling better. One day, because she became friends with Tata Alberto, like they were just chatting, the nurse and him a lot. She's like, I'll tell you a little secret. And he's like, what? She's like, you know the pain meds I give the guy at night? And he was like, yeah. She's like, it's saline solution. I'm not actually giving him any medicine at all. It's just placebo effect. Like he's like, I was just so annoyed by him. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll just inject him some fake medicine. And then Alberto was like, wait a second, but how is that possible though? He actually is in so much pain. How is he not feeling pain anymore just because his brain thought he got medicine? And then he got this idea into his head, well, if the guy can heal his pain, can I heal my body with my mind too? I don't know how he did it, okay? He was in that hospital bed for months. He was paraplegic. He walked out of that hospital. He walked. I mean, he literally walked out of that hospital. All the doctors told him, we're gonna put you to like the psychological support because you're in denial. Because he kept telling everybody he's gonna walk again soon. So they're like, we're gonna put you to like we're gonna call the hospitals like therapists and like counseling because you're obviously like in denial and whatever. And he was like, you guys are so negative. I want to get out of this hospital. So he had the last month of recovery in his own house. Because like you're just like trying to make me think I'm not gonna heal. And the first thing he did when he walked again is literally, well, so he left in a wheelchair. And a few months later, he was like, I'm gonna go and show them, you know? And so he went into the hospital and he walked into the hospital. He walked into his doctor's office, and the doctor was like, oh my gosh, what? This is crazy, right? He's like, that's impossible. The doctor, of course, was like, yeah, weird medical miracles that happen sometimes. But he was like, no, dude, it was the power of my own mind. And so I always joke and tell him he's the Guatemalando Dispensa. Basically, um, Alberto got obsessed with the mind, right? He got obsessed with weight. He says that 90% of illnesses are in the mind. Like some, he says, like actually are real, he says, and everything, but he says that you can actually heal 90% of your physical problems with your own mind. And just like that, you can do so many things with the power of your own mind. I'll tell you another funny story that he always likes to share with people. And, you know, he had a crazy life. He was in the guerrilla fighting against the genocide in the Civil War, living in the jungle. But then at some point, he was just like working at a hotel, then on like the cotton fields and whatever. Then he was an Akik. So he's crazy. But anyways, when he was working at the hotel, they had this program for people like sales program. Like, I don't know, they were salesmen for something. I don't even know what. They got commissions for every time they sold. I don't even know what they were selling. They were selling something, yeah. One day, one of his work colleagues walks into work and he's super angry and moody and he's like, ah, man, you know. And Alberto's like, what's up? Like, why are you so angry today? And the guy is like, yeah, I'm not gonna sell anything today. And Alberto's like, what do you mean? The day hasn't even started yet. It's early in the morning. How do you know that you're not gonna sell anything today? And in Guatemala, if you go to the market, you can find all this funny stuff like this good luck powders, you know, attract love into your life, make him crazy for you, attract money, blah, blah, blah. And it's like some perfumes you can put on, or some powders you can use, or some little things for doing little rituals or whatever. So this guy used to go to the market, and it was like he got this make money good luck powders. And he said, every morning I put on my hand the good luck powders and then I sell a lot. And Alberto was like, yeah, actually he was the best salesman. Like he like won by far when it came to sales. And he came in that day and he's like, every morning, Alberto, I put on this lucky powders, but today I don't know what, I was in a rush and I forgot, so I'm not gonna sell anything today. Lo and behold, the day goes by. He sold nothing, zero. That was the best salesman of the company. Literally, he always outsold everyone. And for the first time ever, he sold nothing at all. And Alberto was like, dude, you're so dumb. It's not the powders, you know, it's your mind. You're coming into work every day saying, I'm gonna be so lucky. I'm gonna sell so much. And then you do. And then you come into work today and you say, today I'm not gonna sell anything. And then you don't. And so he always teaches me. And so like the strength thing that Elena and I just showed you with like your arm, he always teaches me little simple things. And maybe you already have heard of this, but like he's like, okay, Sulvay, put your head down. I'm like, okay. Then he does the arm test, and then I'm weak. He's like, now put your chin up. I'm like, okay. And then he does the arm test, and then like I'm strong. He can't fight my arm. He says, okay, Sulvay, say I'm weak. And I'm like, okay, I'm weak. And then he does it, and I'm weak. Then he's like, okay, now say I'm strong. He does it, and he can't fight me. Then he's like, okay, now let's go crazier. I'll send you a message in your mind. Try this with a friend, guys. It's really crazy. He's like, you're not even gonna know what I'm saying. But then he thinks towards me, she's weak. And literally, then I'm weak. Then he thinks towards me, she's strong. And literally, then I'm strong. And he has all these funny stories of like how he used to be in a soccer team for fun, and there was a penalty, and he had to throw the penalty, and he just walked by the goalie and he said, I can't remember what he said to the goalie, but he said, you already lost or something. I don't know what he said. And then he would always score, like he would get in people's minds. Or he told me the story of how the people in the guerrilla during the genocide in Guatemala, the guerrilla was the opposition to the military who was trying to defend the rights of the indigenous people here. I respect them so much. And people in the area, because they had all this indigenous wisdom, sometimes were using this tricks with the military, right? And so he told me one day, because he was in the guerrilla, three of the guerrilla guys agreed with each other to, and they knew there was one of the guys from the military who walked by the same path to come home every day. And so they put three different guys over a space of three different blocks. The first one was like, came to the guy and was like, are you okay? You don't look okay. You look sick. The guy was like, what? I'm not, I'm fine, whatever. Then he walks one, two more blocks, and another guy is there ready. And he's like, oh, sir, are you okay? You don't look good at all. You look really weak. And the guy's like, what? I'm okay. I don't get it, you know? Then he walks one more block. And then the third guy is there and says the same thing. Sir, do you need help? You look really not okay. Are you sick? Do you need help? And Alberto tells the funny story of how then the guy came to his mom's house, and then his mom, who was not in on it, told him, are you okay? You look really bad. Like he believed it. Like all it took was people telling him, and he believed it, you know? And then the guy actually got sick that day. It was crazy, you know? So it's wild. But the important part about what I'm sharing with you right now is the power of our mind is so strong. The way in which we protect our energy, that's why I gave you this little trick with the circles and everything. The way we speak to ourselves, the Maya are masters of hacking your brain, and they have all these tricks on how to hack your own brain. And my dad always told me, and I'll close it up with this story. My dad always told me, my dad was sitting with his teacher, and my dad said, you guys are incredible. Like the way you master your body, you master your mind, the things you can do are like intense, you know? And he was like, I wonder. And so my dad asked his teacher, why is it that in the Western world, people are so, not okay and can't actually even control their own minds? And then my dad's teacher told him, Carlos, I'll tell you why. He was like, here in these communities with this wisdom, with the oral tradition, we grow up being taught since we're children, how to use the power of our own brain. He's like, in the Western world, which teacher at school, which parent is sitting you down and teaching you how to master your own mind, your own emotions? Like, no, rare. I mean, if you parents did that, then lucky you, because that's very rare, right? And the guy said, look, your brain is a tool. It's an incredible tool. As a matter of fact, your brain is like a horse carriage, he said. Imagine what a powerful tool a horse carriage. Instead of walking, instead of doing the job, the work yourself, you just sit on it, you grab the horses, and you direct them, right? And then you tell the horses go there and they go there. You tell the horses go there and they go there. That's your brain, he said. It's a horse carriage. It's the biggest tool that you have. You can use it and you say to your brain, okay, this is what I want to achieve next. And your brain does it for you. This is where I want to get next. Okay, this is what I want to develop next. Okay. He said, that's how we use our brain here. But in the Western world, he said, nobody teaches people how to drive the carriage. So they're not good drivers. They just don't know how to drive. So they sit on the carriage. They're like, okay, let's try, right? And then one of the horses runs away. And the person just has to jump off the carriage, run, chase the horse. Oh my God, recover the horse, chase the horse, and then fight the horse to come back to the carriage. And finally, after a big fight, the horse comes back to the carriage just for the person to find out the next horse has already escaped. And then again, run, try to chase the horse back. Then the other horse already escaped. And he said, if that's how you're using your brain, you're using it wrong. Then it's not a tool, then it's a big burden. He's like, just learn how to drive. So my dad, Tata, I love Tata Alberto because he actually reminds me a lot of my dad. And, my dad always taught me, you have to learn how to use your brain. There's nothing you can't achieve, baby. You are the creator of your personal reality. You can create your own reality. And so all of these tools are the ones that I want to leave you guys with, because for the next 200 days, we're going to be going through this intensity of Venus. So yeah, reflect, release, invite new beginnings, set intentions, be grateful, and learn how to balance your energy and how to utilize the power of your mind. If you can do all of those things for the next 200 days, then you're going to ride the wave. You're not going to be crashed by it. So I really hope that that was helpful. If even one person has a great next 2-3 months thanks to this, then I already did my job. I really, really, really hope that that was helpful. I'm so inspired right now. I'm gonna go do all these exercises myself. And with that, we're gonna basically close up the 3-day Venus challenge. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot about Venus. It's, truly, 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 truly incredible. It's truly incredible what, we can do when we learn about the cycles of time, the cycles of space, the cycles of nature, the cycles of energy, and then how to master our own energy in connection to those cycles. I remind you guys that in 1 week from now, approximately, we're starting the 20-day cacao challenge. If you would like to join, and I'll just quickly share a slide for 1 second before we close it up. Just a friendly reminder that if you guys want to keep learning Maya wisdom, I would say the way to go is the journey. I told you it's less than $1 a day. I spend probably $3 a day on just buying random coffee at coffee shops, but instead you can just buy access to something that was put together with so much love by me and my dad and a team of healers and spiritual leaders that is going to change your life, because it's going to teach you all of the knowledge, but also how to transform that knowledge into wisdom by practicing it through action, right? Because the spirituality of today has a name, and that name is action. And so the journey, once upon a time, used to be priced at a really high price in order to allow us to afford to travel around Guatemala recording all these courses for years, and to pay the incredible teachers super fairly and the filmmakers and everyone. But our goal always was to make it super accessible for everyone. So it includes the 1-year spiral of deep lessons and practices. It's self-paced, it's 12 months. It's amazing. It's life-changing. It's really, truly great. It also includes the cacao healing course, because we know you guys love cacao. So we want to teach about the wisdom of cacao, the herbal healing course, because now I'm obsessed with herbs. So I want everybody else to be obsessed with herbs too. The lifetime access and support so that you can do it in your own time. We built it so that even if you have kids, even if you have a job and everything, you'll still have time to do the journey. And we also built it so that if people do have the time, there's a lot of bonus content so that they can go even deeper if they'd like to. But it's also built so that if you go on vacation for a month and you miss a month, you have lifetime access, so you can always come back to it and support because our team is awesome. It includes free gifts as well. This price, that's the offer that we have for you. So it's the 20-day cacao challenge golden ticket, which means you get access to the recordings, which are usually priced at $47 every single cacao challenge, but you get access to the recordings for free lifetime, like as in like every time there's a cacao challenge, you'll always get access to the recordings. And I feel like I'll do cacao challenges for as long as I live, probably, I don't know. We'll see. So it also includes the private community of the journey and the $50 gift card so that you can help us support the artisans and Maya producers and small business owners that we work here in Guatemala. Not to mention, of course, the products are super awesome, handmade, the best quality and everything. And so usually it's $4.97, but right now there's a 30% off. It's just $3.47 until Wednesday, by the way. Wednesday is the last chance to claim this offer, this 30% off offer. The next. And last thing, there's a 90-day money back guarantee, just in case you don't remember, I mentioned that yesterday. So you can also just try it out for 3 months. And if for some weird, crazy reason you don't like it because you have no idea how much work we put into making it awesome, but if for some reason you don't like it, it's completely risk-free and you can always get your money back. So close the slide. Okay. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this 3-day Venus challenge. I really enjoyed this 3-day Venus challenge. Now I'm super pumped for the cacao challenge next week because now I'm like all energized and I can't stop. So I'm glad we have 20 more days of just chit-chatting about this topics coming up soon. By the way, that's also free. You can join it if you want to. So it's just amazing to me how on point and specific the cycles of the planets are, how the Maya put together that crazy, crazy math. And also, not only did they just do the math, they left us with teachings on how that'll affect our lives. And then on another layer, they just gave us teachings on how to master ourselves so that when things like this happen, we know how to master ourselves so that energy doesn't affect us. And so I'm really grateful today. I'm really grateful to be here. I'm so incredibly grateful to see so many people here. You don't know what this means to me. And thank you guys so much. Have an awesome new cycle of Venus. Have a good next 8 years as well. Have a good 2025. And I'm sure I'll see a lot of you guys very soon. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to me. Have a beautiful rest of your day and go be grateful. Thank you. And take action. Thank you. Bye, guys. See you very soon. Thank you for joining us. Bye bye.